think most of you I've probably talked to before, somewhere along the line, or I've seen you around. So thank you for coming to lunch today.
What's for lunch?
What's for lunch? I didn't bring lunch. This is a lunch and learn. You bring your lunch and I provide the learning. Okay? I'm doing the learning today. I'm giving you the learning. Okay. So what I thought I would talk about is healthy eating and nutrition. Just so that you know, March is what we call National Nutrition Month. And all kinds of activities at the medical center and in the community are planned for the celebration of National Nutrition Month. So I appreciate being invited up here so that I can talk to you about healthy eating and nutrition. Okay? So here we're going to go through 16 health tips that you can incorporate into your lifestyle for the year 2016. Okay? So dedicate yourself to healthy lifestyle in 2016 with these food, nutrition, and physical activity tips. You notice it's a combination between food, nutrition, and physical activity. There isn't one cure-all to being healthy. You really need a combination of those three components. Okay? First of all, start with breakfast. How many of you had breakfast today? All right. What was that old adage that our mother always used to say?
It's the best meal of the day.
The most important meal of the day. Okay, so it really is important to start your morning and try to start it with a healthy breakfast. And by a healthy breakfast, I'm not talking about donuts, and I'm not talking about foods that are laden in sugar. Try to find things that include a lean protein, okay, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Right? Try making a breakfast burrito, scrambled eggs, low-fat cheeses, salsa, and a whole wheat tortilla, or a parfait with low-fat plain yogurt, fruit, and whole grain cereal. There's all kinds of ideas out there now. I've seen lately that you can make oatmeal in the refrigerator overnight. You can, if time is of essence and you really need to get going in the morning, you can do these things at night and still be able to have a nutritious breakfast in the morning.
I've been lazy for the last 2 weeks.
Well, that's not a good excuse.
Cooking my oatmeal at night, buying my yogurt, fruit yogurt,
Well,
and put it in combined.
yeah, that's what they're even saying. You don't even need to cook the yogurt. There are recipes out there that all you have to do is take your yogurt, add your dry oatmeal to it, put it in a jar that it can grow, put it in the refrigerator, and when you wake up the next morning, the oatmeal will be soft and it'll be ready to go. So just kind of experiment with that, but that's an awesome way. We were just talking, this is about lunch, but Nicole was saying that she saw something on Pinterest where you make salads in jars and you put them in the refrigerator and then they'll keep, I'm not sure if 2 weeks is a good idea to keep them, but you can do these convenience things, have them ready for you, so there really is no excuse as to why you can't have a good breakfast. But those are just some ideas. Here are some other ways that you can power up with breakfast. It says, make instant oatmeal with low-fat milk instead of water. How many of you, when you do make make oatmeal, use water instead of milk? Okay? Use the milk. I always use, I've gotten to buying like the soy milk and the almond milk. I really enjoy not drinking those, but eating those. You can use that stuff. That's much more nutritious than the water. Layer low-fat plain yogurt with your favorite crunchy cereal and blueberries. You go to McDonald's and what they have the yogurt parfaits and then just a little bit of granola on top. You can do that too at home. Buy the bulk cereal and then portion it out, get little containers and take that with you. But if you add the crunchy part before, it will get soft, just kind of like the oatmeal does. Okay? How many of you are into smoothies and those kinds of things?
Yeah.
Anybody? No? I'm not one to drink my calories, so I don't usually do smoothies. Here's another suggestion. Place 1 packet of microwave oatmeal with low-fat milk, add in some applesauce and sprinkle it with apple pie spice or cinnamon. It says, top a toaster waffle with low-fat yogurt and peach slices. low-fat cream cheese on a bagel. You know, make a sandwich. There's nothing to say that you can't make a sandwich for breakfast with lean ham, low-fat Swiss, and a toasted English muffin. That'll work. You know, so those are just things that you can do, but breakfast really is one of the most important meals of the day, and we really should start with breakfast. Any questions? Okay. Next, make half your plates fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables that have lots of color, flavor, and texture also contain lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber, and you can add those to your plate. There's lots of ways that you can do that. Make 2 cups of fruit or 2.5 cups of vegetables your daily goal, and try different things that are out there. I mean, it seems like every time I go to the grocery store, there's a different type of vegetable there, or there's a different type of grain there. There's all kinds of things that, you know, ways that you can get more fruits and vegetables. Again, I encourage you to eat your fruits and vegetables rather than drinking your fruits and vegetables. I noticed that like V8 has these kale drinks that are out now, and you know, I guess it would be better to drink those vegetables than not have any vegetables at all. But I think you get more nutrients and you get more out of the food if you eat the food rather than drinking it. So ways that you can get more fruits and vegetables. You can make them as smoothie. You can put them in wraps. Make crunchy vegetables instead of chips. I bought this chip maker at, I think I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond, that you probably don't even need to use that, but you just slice your potatoes real thin, or your beets or your carrots, slice something and use your microwave. Put them in your microwave. That will dry them out and then make them crunchy. They don't last very long, but you can do that. Just slice them really thin. I got a mandolin, you know, one of those real thin vegetable slicers, and then just layer it on a paper towel, put it in the microwave, and keep your eye on it. But they will dry out and they will become like crisps, and that's a lot less expensive than buying the baked chips and buying those kinds of things at the supermarket. Okay. You know, when you're making a salad, obviously the more color that's in the salad, the better. You know, pick dark lettuces rather than the iceberg lettuce. You know, again, there's all different kinds of lettuces out there. Make sure that you add carrots and tomatoes and, you know, cucumbers, any vegetable that you like that would give it a little bit of crunch and a little bit of color. One thing that's important to do, and I think that, you know, our lifestyles are so busy, is that when we go to the grocery store and we buy our fresh fruits and vegetables, when we take them home and wash them and process them, cut them up, so that when you want to make a salad and you get ready to go, they're already available. You know, you don't have to go through the process of cleaning all those things.
Just one quick question.
Uh-huh.
We had a discussion the other night around our table, we were having a salad, and somebody said, well, all I'm gonna do is eat a salad tonight. And my daughter's much more savvy on this part than I am.
Okay.
We know that salad really isn't enough. It's not really as good as what you think. That salad, and she made this statement, I said, that a salad is really just more of a bulk and a filler than really to give you a lot of
energy.
everything. Yeah. Is that true?
Well,
I thought if I ate a salad was...
Well, it just depends upon what you put in your salad. I guess that would be my response to that. Like, at our house, my husband and I love salads, but in our salads, we have nuts, we have peanuts, we have pumpkin seeds, we have sesame seeds. We add a lot to that rather than just vegetables.
And just lettuce, okay.
So if it's just lettuce, you're right, all it is a filler. And if you fill up on that, that doesn't really give you all the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs to sustain you. But if you make it such that you add, I mean, we even add chow mein noodles, we add pickle, I mean, you name it, you can add beans, you can add all those kinds of things to make it a complete meal. And that still counts as a salad to me, but it really is a meal in itself.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But you can make a salad meal, but if it's just lettuce and things, then you're not getting all the nutrients that you need. Okay. All right? And remember that fresh is best, rather than canned, rather than, I mean, frozen. I guess if I was to go through the what would be best. I would start with fresh, I would go to frozen, and my last thing would be canned, just because of the processing, okay? Watch your portion size, okay? Anymore, it's not what we eat, it's how much we eat. That's the bottom line. We shouldn't go overboard on any one food, because when we fill up on one food, that means that we're not getting the other foods that we need. So it really is important that we eat a variety of foods from all the different food groups. And all the different food groups are listed on your handy dandy little jar opener. Because we have the fruits and the vegetables, we have the grains, we have the protein, we have the dairy. And that's basically all our different food groups. So when you sit down to eat, you should be able to identify one food from each of those food groups on your plate. And I used to drive my kids crazy because we would sit down at dinner and I would say, okay guys, where's your fruit? Where's the vegetable? Where's your protein? Where's your milk? We would identify all of them and make sure that they were in the proper portions. Okay? Be active. Regular physical activity has so many health benefits. It doesn't mean that you have to get up every morning and run 5 miles or, go play basketball. I mean, it's as simple as just walking. And I'm talking about not being on your feet. I'm talking about actually going out for a walk. Okay, that's a little bit different. Start by doing exercises that you can do for at least 10 minutes at a time. And have fun. Have fun. That's what it's all about. Don't pick something that you don't like to do, because are you going to be able to stick with it? No. You're going to say, oh man, this is just too much. You're going to come up with every excuse in the book not to do it. All right? Everybody should get, children and teens, should get at least 60 or more minutes of physical activity per day, and adults should get anywhere from 2 hours and 30 minutes per week. Usually what I encourage is 30 minutes most days. If you have a dog, take a dog for a walk, You can break it up into 10 minutes at a time. If you don't have a gym, like it says, if you can't hit the gym, take a walk after dinner or play a game of catch or basketball. Just move. That's what's important.
I know somebody in here who walks 10 miles a day.
Is that you? I think that our society has just become so lazy. I was watching TV the other day, and now you can get a remote that you don't even have to pick up the remote to push a button. Now you can just say, find me, find me a cooking show, and it'll do that. And it's just like, oh my, this isn't helping things. But, we have garage door openers, we have, the modern conveniences, if you think about it, mean that we basically don't have to do anything. Maybe lift a finger or two. So it really is important. Wait a minute, how did I get here? Did I move ahead?
Mm-hmm.
I did? Okay. So anyway, so the next thing is to fix healthy snacks. All right, healthy snacks can sustain your energy levels between meals, especially when they are a combination of different food groups.
What do you recommend on the granola bar?
A granola bar, I think, which kind or?
Any kind.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with a granola bar. I think that they've got grain in it. If you find one that maybe has some fruit pieces in it, I think that's a good snack. Couple that with a glass of milk or, a piece of fruit or peanut butter, some kind of protein. I think anything can work.
I'm lazy. I don't drink the milk.
Really? Do you eat
Very
yogurt?
rare.
Do you eat yogurt?
Mm-mm.
No?
The yogurt goes in my oatmeal.
Oh,
And
well,
it's-
there you go. So
and
you are
it-
getting,
And then it has fruit in it.
yeah, you are getting some calcium that way, some
Mhm.
nutrients that way. Okay? So, like I said, try to get a variety from the foods from the My Plate group. Try raw vegetables with low-fat cottage cheese, peanut butter, apple, banana. Somebody said hummus. Was that you, Frank, that said that you have hummus? Those are really good ways to incorporate a variety of foods from all the different food groups. And healthy. Yeah. Get to know your food labels. How many of you read the nutrition facts labels? Good. And what do you usually look at when you look at the nutrition facts?
Carbs.
Carbs? What do you look at?
Fats.
The fats? Okay. Do you want to know what the most important thing is that you need to look at when you look at the
Sugars.
nutrition facts? Huh?
Salt. I
No,
know.
no,
Sugar?
no,
Fructose.
no. The serving size. That is one of the most important things because,
One can to serve.
My stomach determines that.
yeah. Because I think that what has happened is that a lot of us are just not aware of what is considered a serving size. And we think that those 5-ounce bag, that's a single serving. But if you turn over and you look at the nutrition facts label,
Yeah.
you realize that it is actually
8.
8, or 12 or something like that. And you're thinking, but this is what I eat at a time. And I think that that's why we have a tendency to overeat, is that we have no idea what the serving size is. All right, so that's number one. Look at the serving size. Okay?
They say something like 10 to 12 chips.
Yeah, something like that. That's about right.
That's
Okay?
only, no, that's not enough for me.
Well, then you have 2 servings then.
No, I eat the whole bag.
Oh, you need to hold that. All right, but use the nutrition facts label, and then depending upon what your health needs are, that's when you might have to look at, the fat or the calories or carbohydrates or protein. That's when you can look at that. But really, look at the nutrition facts label, and the first thing, look at the serving size. And there he is, right there. Case in point, looking at the serving size.
Yeah, I can find.
It should be listed on there. The next thing, if you really want to know, if you want to talk to a nutrition expert, that's when you talk to a registered dietitian nutritionist, which is what I am. We have to go to school for 4 years, then we have to do an internship, and we really are the nutrition experts. Unfortunately, there are people that are out there that call themselves nutritionists and anybody can write a book and things like that. But really to get evidence-based, which is what our profession is based on, you really need to see a registered dietitian nutritionist. Okay? All right, follow food safety guidelines. And I did bring a tear pad because it really is important that everybody, your food isn't going to do you any good if you don't treat the food safely. So it's very important. How many of you have a thermometer at home to test the food to see if it's done? Anybody? Do you use it? Yeah. That's what you need to do to make sure that it's done, because how else would you know what the temperature is and if it's in the food safe zone? And the nice thing about this paper is it gives you what the temperature is that you should try to cook it to.
Should I buy a thermometer?
Yeah, you can get them. I would suggest the little food thermometers that you can get at the, it just is a probe thermometer. You can find those at the grocery store.
John.
Yeah, at Giant. You should in the kitchen aisle. But it really is important because you want to cook food to be able to kill those microorganisms that, could possibly make you very sick. So the best way to do that is to know what the temperature is. Okay? Also, it's very important, and I'm sure you guys know this, hand washing. Separating your raw protein foods from your ready-to-eat cereals. When you buy things at the grocery store, especially the meat, put those on the bottom shelf just in case they have a tendency to bleed. Make sure, put pans and things under things just in case, it has a tendency to go down. And then make sure that you cook it to an appropriate temperature, and then refrigerate food quickly once you're done with it. This is one thing that drives me crazy in my house, is my husband he cleans up. He does the dishes in our house, and he'll put the food away that we cook. But he puts it away in a container, and then he sets it back on the stove because he thinks it's too hot to put into the refrigerator. So I always have to make sure that I follow up right behind him and pick it up and promptly put it in the refrigerator. Because the longer it sets out, the more time it has to form those microorganisms that are not good for you. And you want to get it in the refrigerator to cool down as quickly as possible, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get to the center of it, to cool it all down. That's one thing.
That's a good question. My wife, she does in the summer, cans tomatoes and makes a tomato sauce. She'll have a big, maybe pot. And she'll leave it cool on the stove, and I said, why don't you just do it in the fridge? She goes, no, because it'll spoil if you put it in too soon, and in my mind, I can't grasp that, but have you ever heard anything like that?
No, I haven't heard anything like that. What happens though is when you put things in the refrigerator, you know, it does draw the cold from other things. And, you know, that might be it, but yeah, you know, I would suggest if she wants to leave it out, then they make these, or you could even make your own. Put ice in like a Ziploc bag,
Right.
and then put that in and stir it around to kind of cool it down quickly. But you don't want to let any food set out for more than 2
To
hours.
get that into
Yeah,
room
you want to
temperature.
get it down into a cool temperature as quickly as possible. Okay, so get cooking. That's, you know, suggestion number 9. Get cooking. You know, prepare foods at home so that you know what ingredients goes into it. They can be healthy and cost effective. You wouldn't believe the number of times that people go, well, I really like to eat right, but I think it's too expensive. And I'm like going, you know, it isn't more expensive. You just have to be smart about it. You know, you just have to, you know, eating right doesn't mean you have to eat salmon every week or, you know, expensive foods. You really don't need to do that. You just need to be smart about your food choices and, you know, buy what you can afford. But, you know, learn to do it yourself rather than having to depend on somebody else. Because when you have to depend on, you know, the Nabiscos or whatever, the food companies of the world, they're going to add things to their food to make it last longer and to make it more appealing. And in a lot of cases, we don't need that. When you pick up a package of something, the fewer the ingredients, the better. You know, if it has ingredients in it that you cannot pronounce, do you think that that's really good for you? I don't think so, over time. Okay. Dine out without ditching your goals, you know, so can you still eat out and be healthy? You most certainly can. Just kind of plan ahead, scope out the menu before you go to the restaurant, if at all possible, so that you can kind of see what you want to get. Most places have their menus online anymore. So scope it out. Try to find words that are grilled, baked, broiled, or steamed. Try to stay away from fried foods as best you can. Anymore, the restaurants are giving calorie counts, those kinds of things. So we're really moving, I think, in the right direction. But you can eat out and still be healthy. Okay. Number 11, enact family meal time. I think that this is really amazing. When I grew up, we all sat around the kitchen table, and nowadays, I think that is not the norm. I think that people eat in front of the TV, they eat in front of the computer, phones. The amount of phone usage that you see when I go out to eat, I think is appalling. You know, that's just a rule in our house. We have a no phone rule that when we sit at the table, that's table time, that's meal time. So we kind of keep track of what we're eating, you know, we get to have conversation. A lot of those things really are lacking. So there it just says, you know, turn off the TV, phones, electronic devices, get kids to talk, help them, get kids to help plan the meals, and help with the cooking. Teach them about good nutrition, because that's what they're going to take with them when they leave. Okay? Banish brown bag boredom, whether it's lunch at work or school, prevent brown bag boredom with easy to fix lunch ideas. There it's, you know, whole wheat pita and vegetables, hummus, low sodium vegetable soup. I think I saw you had soup, you know?
Have they seen the new market areas that we have now? And they've been at the plant to see?
No, I haven't seen.
It'd be good to take them out there and show them.
That's great. Whole grain crackers, you know, your mixes, your dressings, you know, and even in the grocery store nowadays, they're making it easier to have containers that you can put, you know, a complete meal in. You can put a salad in, a salad shaker. It's just amazing what convenience items they have out there that can make packing a lunch so that it's not always a sandwich and chips and vegetables. You can jazz it up a little bit, okay? All right, drink more water. Number 1, Okay, quench your thirst by drinking water instead of the sugary drinks. Again, kind of like the smoothies, I'm not one to drink my calories. The best thing to do is really to drink water. And especially if, you're active and it's hot out in hot conditions, make sure that you're drinking lots of water all the time. It's very easy to become dehydrated. And I think water is underrated, and think about it, when we were growing up, we didn't have bottled water.
No.
Did you guys have bottled water? Who would have ever thought we would pay $1 for a bottle of
I
water?
will not.
But we, that's just, these kids nowadays, that's the way they think the water always came, so it's just different. Okay, number 14, explore new foods and new flavors. There's always seems to be a new grain out there, like we said about the fruits and vegetables, a new vegetable, a new fruit out there. Now, give it a try. Some of them are genetically engineered, they're using genetics there, but I think with a grain of salt, we just need to try these new things and not be afraid to broaden our horizons there. Purple asparagus, they've got purple, what did I see? The purple potatoes. They've got white beets. They've got, just a whole variety of things.
I haven't seen our
Honey crisps.
purple asparagus yet.
I think they have had that at Giant, though. I think I've seen,
Tracy,
no, maybe
you
it was
growing
white.
it?
Maybe it was
No.
white asparagus. I've seen at
I've
Giant.
seen white.
The white, yeah, white and green.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of things, or quinoa. How many of you have ever tried quinoa?
What is it?
Quinoa.
What's
This
that?
one right here. It's a grain.
Never tried.
Yeah. It's over in the rice aisle. It's a grain that's full of protein, It's kind of like rice. You have to season these things, though. But don't be
Broccoli flour,
afraid-
I've
don't
eaten
be
that, but
afraid
we
to
can't
try it.
get that around here.
You can't get what?
The broccoli flour.
Yeah. I think sometimes our Giant doesn't have as much as like the Chambersburg Giant, things like that. But,
When we start the farmers market back in May, come up and visit the farmers market on the
Yeah, but
campus
we-
at the hospital.
Yeah, but we're working daytime.
Well, we're extending some hours, so
Okay.
watch for the advertisements and come up and support. We have some new vendors coming this year, so come
I
up and
have
see
had
what they
broccoli
have.
flour, and I liked it.
And then another thing too is, one thing that we've gotten into doing a lot is before, we would always steam our vegetables. Put them in a steamer and go that way. But I tell you what we do a lot now with our vegetables is we roast them. And it only takes 20 minutes. You have a hot oven. You sprinkle your vegetables, either fresh or frozen, with a little bit of olive oil and garlic. Toss it, put it on a baking sheet, season it however you want. Then put it in the oven, a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes, take it out, turn it around, flip the vegetables, put it back in for 10 more minutes, and it gets a little crispy on the outside. And then I sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese. Oh, you talk about wonderful. I challenge you all to try that. So there's different ways to prepare foods now that we've never had before. Okay. Number 15, try to eat seafood at least twice a week. And it doesn't have to be the expensive fresh seafood. You can always go with the sardines and the oysters and the salmon and the tuna, those kinds of things. But just try to incorporate some type of seafood at least, like it says, twice a week. And last but not least, try to cut back on your added sugars. We have talked about the fructose and those kinds of things. Try to get your food as close to its natural state as you possibly can, because those are the foods that are whole. We call those whole foods, and they're really good. Look at the nutrition facts label. That can help you identify any added sugar. And really all sugar is calories, and we don't need the calories anymore. Okay? Are there any questions?
Which do you recommend, Trivia or Splenda?
I think it just depends upon what your needs are and what you want to do. I think either of them are fine. I have my own personal preference, but
What's that?
I prefer Splenda. I prefer the yellow packet.
Because I'm
But-
using the Trivia.
Yeah, but it's whatever, and I just say whatever you do, just do not do in excess. You know, everything is okay in moderation. That's my key. All right? Any
Well,
questions at all?
Because the trivia, I use half of that as my
Yeah,
sugar.
there you go. Any questions then? Did you find this informative? What's that?
Yeah.
All right. All right, well, I thank you for coming. I probably went a little bit over, but I started a little bit late.